I met a gypsy.
So when you did sign with Red Bull, that's life changing for a guy that's in your position. What was
massively, yeah.
What was the emotions you went through? I'm sure there was a lot of relief, and then like there's expectations and pressure. Like, I mean, Carson actually, Storch, we spoke about it.
Yeah.
Where he was just like, dude, it head me when I got that helmet, because I was like, I don't know if I'm worth this. And then Berriman, same combo. Like, that lid comes with a lot.
Yeah, it definitely is pretty weird. You go to the track and everyone looks at you straight away, and you're like, whoa. But it's I think that's where I got pretty lucky with that month lockdown going straight into, because it really it made me think about everything. And I kind of, by the time I came out of that, and then also I didn't really go to any big public events or anything for a good year because nothing was happening. So I felt quite settled into it by the time it happened. I felt like I got it, and the hype had kind of released by the time that I got to an event in front of people, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I felt comfortable by then, which was pretty cool. And I really did notice that.
And so you had all those thoughts though?
I definitely had a lot of thoughts. I was like, fire, this is pretty crazy. Like, especially where it happened. Like, I got handed the helmet at Crankworks, and I wasn't there to ride. I was there as a builder. Like, I was building the course. So it was pretty weird. Like, you know, there's people... I think it just felt weird for me, as like, I've always been a passionate trail builder and I've always done that, but I kind of started getting myself into a position where I was more prioritizing trail building than riding. And I more felt like I was at that event and people knew me as a trail builder more than I was a bike rider.
That's like, bizarre.
Yeah, and I knew that I kind of got myself into that because I knew that it was kind of like the way my profession was leading in that direction, but it was pretty weird at the end of the week being seen as that dude covered in mud all week, dragging around the hoses, tarping up the jumps, slapping stuff in, like, you know, just the shit kicker walking around the event covered in mud all week, to like doing the Magaza train as the trail builder and landing, and like there's other people there putting their life on the line trying to do the tricks, and then I got handed the helmet that most of those guys are also trying to work for, and it was like quite a buzzy feeling. It was like, I was like, this is so... I was so happy, obviously, but it was so like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, that I'm just being myself now and this has happened, rather than like, I guess I didn't get that pressure of like, I hadn't just won a competition and been handed it and being like, well, pressure's on now. It was more like,
you got to keep winning.
It more felt like I'd earned it overall in the sport, I guess.
Yeah.
Which was quite like satisfying.
Oh, dude. And I mean, I felt some kind of way about it, you know, like it made me feel so good to see it, and it made a lot of other people so good to see that went down. And like, I remember just, it was everywhere, like everyone was tagging you, and it was really cool, man. Like that isn't something you see every day. Like, you get given a helmet, and then it was almost just like this flood of support of people just being like, fuck yes.
Yeah, it was insane. That was the best day of my life, probably. Like, it was my birthday as well. So it was like, the whole situation was like, it got lifted from, it was just like, obviously it was a good day in the office because I was building at Crankworks, but it was literally like I was just at work. I was like, it was just a normal work day. And then that escalated into that. I was like, whoa.
So you knew that, like, you obviously had done the deal.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I'd been verbally told, but no contracts, no helmet.
So you hadn't signed the contract or anything?
Nah. So I knew that it was happening, but I thought that it was happening a few weeks after, because I think it was meant to. I think the COVID whole lockdown thing might have just rushed it a little bit quicker. But I had in my head that I was going back to Australia a few weeks after Crankworks, and then we were going to do some cool thing. But I knew that I was riding for them, but didn't know when anything was actually going to happen, I guess. So like, it fully caught me off guard. I was like, what the hell? Like, it was a special moment.
And so how did it change your life?
I guess from then, especially mentally, it changed it, because it was like, I nearly accepted myself as more of a trail builder than rider. That's kind of the direction that I was starting to lead into, and the way that...
And why was that, you reckon?
Just after that bad accident I had, it just seemed to be, I never really, that was the first year that I started getting financial backup from any sponsors. And then I started gaining them again in about 2019. I got like my first actual paycheck that I'd ever gotten from riding. But it wasn't anything you could live off. It was just enough pretty much to pay for my flight to and from Europe, which was still crazy. But then I started trail building. It was going pretty well for myself. I felt like I'd kind of more peaked it. You know, I'd gone to like, in riding, obviously I was competing in crankworks, but in trail building, I was building crankworks, which is pretty much like winning trail building. Like I was kind of at the top of it.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was nearly working out for me better than riding. And it was such like a reevaluation once I'd been given the helmet. I was like, whoa, I'm still on the radar for riding kind of thing. Like I knew that I was personally, like I felt good about how I was riding. I was happy I was riding, but I didn't realize that on a global status that's how people still saw it. So it was quite a good reminder. I was like, whoa, this is actually like, I'm just being the person I've always been digging and riding. And now I'm getting kind of rewarded for it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, now it's really allowed me to be myself, because I'm like, all right, I've got, since that deal, my other sponsors are starting to back me more as well. And not that they obviously were already, but everyone's like on a more high level now. And it's pretty, it just feels really nice to like know that I can be the guy that I want to be and get like respected for it, I guess.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I don't know. It's just a real weird thing to take in, that I can actually do it, what I wanted to do as a kid. And it's actually happening.
If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.